Let's go, Bannon. Let's go, Bannon. Oh, the joy, oh, rapture. For those of you that don't know, an indictment has come down from a grand jury that holds Steve Bannon in contempt and his jail stuff. Good times. I'm celebrating with a clear mind kombucha, in case you're wondering. It's a weird color. It's the same color as my background because the can is green. As all healthy things are, except, of course, for unripe bananas, which are disgusting. Now, before we get into, it is definitely a fantastic Friday. And make no mistake about it, it's breaking news over at Newsmax. Don't believe me? Just watch. About the Bannon indictment. Oh boy, such a good stuff. I'm so excited that I just can't hide it. Meanwhile, I think we actually have, do we have a clip of him? We do. We gotta have some. Oh yes. What could possibly go wrong? This is the, oh boy. Don't worry. He's calling in the big guns. He's got backup. That's right. Marjorie Taylor Greene's got Bannon covered. He's going to be all right. Not so much. But we start our day off with one, perhaps, and this is a very short clip. Hold on. I have not listened to this audio yet, but this is Trump talking to Jonathan Karl while he's being interviewed for his book, Betrayal, the Final Act of the Trump Show, a book that is coming out quite soon. And Karl says, when I interviewed Trump for Betrayal and asked him about his supporters chanting "Hang Mike Pence," he didn't condemn them, he defended them. Here's a clip from the interview. More audio from the genuinely shocking interview will air Sunday on This Week ABC. Oh boy. So here it is. This is pretty gnarly.
Worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape.
And by the way, repeating yourself is a sign of mental decline. Repeating yourself is a sign of mental decline, in case you didn't hear me the first time.
But no,
you heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, just,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They're saying "Hang Mike
because
Pence."
it's common sense, John. It's common sense that you're supposed to protect. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, right?
Yeah.
How can you pass on a fraudulent vote to Congress?
Well, I mean, obviously, you think there's a fraudulent vote, whereas Pence does not believe you. You fucking lunatic. And so this whole thing, they were saying "Hang Mike Pence," well, is because it's common sense, If anybody would pass along a fraudulent vote, what could possibly go wrong in this circumstance? So just adorable. Now, this is, let's see, there's so much. Okay, let's jump right into the Steve Bannon news, because I need to see how Newsmax is taking this. I don't know that we went to a live cam of Greg Kelly on a bus just tearing the pages out of a phone book one at a time, saying he should get credit for tearing up a phone book. Does he still have phone books? Is that a muscle man thing? You guys remember that, right? Anyways, this is longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon has been indicted for contempt of Congress after refusing to comply with a subpoena for the House Select Committee. Oh, God, so good. Okay.
Breaking news to get to before.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was going to be Rob or something like that. And yeah, apparently it's Anchorman stuntable.
To break, the Justice Department announced just a minute ago that there's a federal grand jury.
Is it just me, or does he sound like he's about to cry? Is it federal? They were just in breaking news. I don't know if you saw this.
Justice Department announced just a
announced-
minute ago that there's a federal grand jury has indicted former Trump advisor Steve Bannon and charged him with contempt of Congress. This after Steve Bannon refused a subpoena from the White House committee investigating January 6th.
Come on, dude. Go full Rittenhouse. Go big or stay home.
And earlier today, we heard from that former chief of staff. Mark Meadows also did not appear after he was subpoenaed. We expect him to be charged as well. More.
Oh, yes. As do we. Excuse me 1 second. I should have put on pasties or something. This is this is getting so, oh my goodness. And I have to say, I did chess today. So this is pleasurable.
All of that as information comes in. Okay. So we brought some breaking news to you earlier. Steve Bannon has been indicted by a federal grand jury, but also there's a warrant out for his arrest.
That I felt that one. Did you feel that? That felt good. Did you hear that? There's a what? Sorry.
Steve Bannon has been indicted by a federal grand jury, but also there's a warrant out for his arrest. And
so, can you say it slower next time? Maybe in French. Try a Gomez Adams kind of approach. I need to be alone.
And we wanted to bring in someone who has a good idea of what's going on here. Bridget.
Somebody who also will be indicted soon. Please welcome Matt Gaetz.
Gabriel. She's a chairman of actforamerica.org. Bridget.
Oh, good Lord. You can't spring that on me. That's a lot. That's a whole lot of time sharing going on. I feel like... Bow before us. We share one eye, but we see all. The uplighting's a good touch. Halloween's over. I'm just saying, if you tried the whole like Phil Collins, ow, nothing.
And this is breaking news as we speak, as we came to air. Drudge had his little one of those 4-alarm.
Yeah, Drudge had one of those things. Drudge told us. I couldn't check. I know it was on the other news things, but I couldn't bring myself to look.
Fire things circling. What are your thoughts on the way the Justice Department is going after Bannon and the others in the Trump administration?
Well, it's obviously some shit. That uplighting is creeping me out. I can't even focus. Jesus Christ. Is she tanning while she's doing the show? Does she have one of those big reflector pans pointing up? Like I have these little lights over here, and you can see if I block them out right there. And then this guy over here. And that helps me cut out the green screen behind me by properly lighting the green, because I give a shit. But that's not what this is. There is a LED, she's in a casket. This LED light is, oh God.
Well, let's just say there is no justice anymore in the Justice Department.
Yeah, that's so what we're saying. There's no justice anymore in the Justice Department. We can't even say it, but we don't want to. Hey, there's no justice in the Justice Department. It's just us, not you. It's just us, not you.
Because right now the Justice Department has been weaponized against the Trump team and against conservatives, and they are going...
Well, then why did they need a grand jury? Nice makeup. Where's Duran? Oh, totally. Yeah, I did. Yeah. What's the Duran? Rio? Was it the Rio?
After witch hunts, trying to hunt down leaders who were involved with the
Also witches.
president, people who are close within his inner circles, and they are targeting them.
Excuse me, there's only one inner circle. No, there's lots of inner circles. Actually, they're all outside circles. I don't know.
And this is why this whole charade, this whole window dressing is basically going after them to get them.
Well, it is, I have to tell you this, that, darling, I must say to you, if I may, speak for a moment and then remain silent so that I may hear your answers. So good. By the way, avoiding the puka shells, good idea. I do think it's sad that an entire coral reef had to die just so you could wear that necklace. I'm telling you. But if we ever fall through a time vortex and we are back in time and you need to buy something, welcome to wampum. She wears it around her neck or whatever. I think the turquoise look is a good look overall. Here we are. But, it's window dressing of a witch hunt because, again, it's post-Halloween. It's like when you're driving by those Halloween city places. Why are they not closed? It's almost Thanksgiving.
It'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen in this case and whether they arrest him or when they arrest him and how this is going to proceed. This is not right.
No, here's what's not right. That you had the giant bonnet all day. You had it all day. It's a fabulous hat. I'm not telling you any different. By the way, anyone with an accent speaks 2 languages, automatically smart, so don't even begin. But you had the flatness that's going on, darling, and someone should have given you a pic before you came on the air. And I know you're trying to distract us with the combo earring necklace setup that you got when you fell off a cruise ship and you stayed with those people for a week.
Something is so wrong in our government when our government agencies are weaponized against people simply because of their political belief. But that's the America we live in right now.
Yes, it's terrible that a grand jury, can go after someone for what they believe, even if they don't know what they believe.
It's unbelievable. I mean, to put out a warrant for Bannon's arrest. I mean, I know they asked him to come in, they subpoenaed him, and he said,
"Yeah." How dare they put? I mean, they asked him to come in, then they subpoenaed him, then they put a grand jury together. The grand jury heard the evidence for why he should be subpoenaed. They agreed, and now there's a subpoena for him and a warrant for his arrest. Gee, it's almost like we have a rule of law in this fucking country.
No, but these are the way things work. You can go through the legal channels. I mean, he's not accused of a crime at this point.
At this point, he's just been indicted, fucko. And by the way, he's a material witness. So I'm like, this isn't even... You don't even have to watch an entire episode of Law and Order to get this. You can just watch anything past the 3rd clung, and you'll know this shit.
I do believe. Am I getting this right?
No, you aren't. Seriously. Just fart in a bag, pop it, and say, that's my argument.
No, I don't believe he's accused of any crime. But look, he did not commit any crime.
How do you know? Are you? I'm sorry. Are you his alibi? Ugh.
I mean, what was his crime? Why are they going after him? Why are they arresting him? But I hope that Steve Bannon has top-notch attorneys right now who are fighting for him.
Yes, and expensive ones, I hope. I hope they're very expensive.
And again, the whole nation's going to be watching, or at least the conservatives are going to be.
Yeah, well, not all the conservatives. A lot of them are going to be like at football games and shit like that. But they'll get around to it. I mean, if we don't save Steve Bannon, who will be there to save us?
Watching how this case is going to transpire, because this is going to affect every American. Right now, the government is arresting people, throwing them in jail. They're not giving them attorneys. I mean, look at the January.
Everybody has attorneys. The fuck are you talking about? Oh, we're dovetailing into the January 6th rioters and the insurrectionists don't have attorneys. They all have attorneys. They all do. Oh, it was supposed to say ni hao, ni hao.
6 people.
They all have attorneys. Fuck you. Fuck you. Stop shitting on America and the American judicial system and the legal system. They all have attorneys. If they don't have attorneys, it's because they've fired their attorneys and they're getting their own attorneys, or they're representing themselves because they're sovereign citizen neo-QAnon lunatics.
A lot of people don't even know what's happening to them.
No, I don't know. I thought I did, but I don't know what's happening. I don't even know why I am standing in front of a French fry light.
They're not being heard. They're not. It's like people in Cuba, people in Gitmo has more rights than the January 6th.
Get fucked. People in Cuba and Gitmo have more rights. No, they do not. Fucking shame on you.
Prisoners. So this is going to be very interesting. Our government is like communist China right now.
Yes. Tell you what, kiddo. Head over to communist China. Talk like this for 3 minutes. And we will all see you in 20 fucking years. I'm so aggravated. Like, I don't know why she's on. I don't know. She's illegal. I don't know what. All I know is there's a monitor in front of him, and I don't think he's looking at her face. I didn't freeze that on purpose, but Christ.
People are being arrested without a crime. People are being charged. People are being thrown in jail without rights to an attorney or an appeal or knowing what's.
Bullshit. They all have attorneys. Where the fuck? How do you even let her say that on this show? How do you even go how do you go? I mean, at one point, well, they all do have court-appointed attorneys, or they've gotten their own representation, or they're representing themselves because they fired those people. But they all have a right to an attorney. If I recall, every fucking cop show since 1968.
Happening with them, the Americans need to wake up and realize that they better get involved and get involved in grassroots, get involved locally with their elections, get involved with their elected officials, because
yes, have great sexy affairs with your elected officials. Get involved with them. Find out when their wife is away at work. Show up.
So we are at a time where we may be the people trying to protect themselves from a corrupt and a totalitarian government. We never thought it will happen in America, but it looks like this is the direction where our country is going.
Yes, because Steve Bannon was asked to come in nicely, told to come in, subpoenaed. When he didn't honor the subpoena, a grand jury was convened. They looked at the evidence as to why he should be called. They all agreed. And then a subpoena was put out and an arrest warrant for him. Dude had a 5-step legal process, and he's got legal representation. What the fuck? How do you think other countries run? Is she supposed to be like, I'm Cuban, so I know how Cuba was? Is that what she's talking about? Because if she is, she sure as shit doesn't know what the fuck's going on in Cuba right now.
It's unbelievable, Bridget Gabriel. It's just unbelievable.
Yes, it's not believable. What she's saying is not believable, Bridget Gabriel, and this is moronic.
Where American citizens are being held in solitary at some time.
Yeah, guess what? If you throw your shit at guards or spit on them and say, I have COVID, or refuse to get a test, or refuse to get vaccinated, or all of the above, you're going to end up in solitary. If you threaten other prisoners and they're worried for your safety, you're going to end up in solitary. The fuck are you talking about? You think these people, because they broke into the Capitol, beat up cops, shit on the floor of the Capitol and smeared it on the walls, were yelling, hang Mike Pence, the sitting vice president at that time, we're talking about on social media putting a bullet in Nancy Pelosi's fucking brain, that those folks should get special treatment now that they've been busted because they posted their crimes online over other people? I mean, sure, I broke a window in the nation's capital and was roaming around inside threatening to kill the vice president, but I shouldn't have to deal with the same shit that somebody that broke in a house and was screaming their ex-wife's name while carrying a gun should do. I mean, why?
23 out of 24 hours a day here in America, but...
Excuse me, it's 30 hours a day. Do your fucking math.
Terrorists can go to Gitmo and get soccer fields built for them and vending machines put up so they have a good and internet and make sure they're okay. They're terrorists. They're trying to kill us.
That's right.
But we have people who are not even convicted of anything, sitting behind bars and sometimes in the conditions that
yeah, those guys at Gitmo, I'm sure they would fucking trade being at Gitmo for being awaiting pre-trial in a jail cell. The fuck are you talking about?
Outline. Very quickly, final thought, Bridget.
Yeah, final thought. Something about, it's terrible. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised an asteroid meteor with Genghis Khan on it has not hit America right now. We are all, this is like Wolverines Gather Up or whatever that show was. We're all like the bad guy in war games at this point. Who can say?
Exactly. And not allowed medical treatment. I mean, look.
Bullshit.
Already had somebody that died. At least prisoners in Gitmo were allowed dental and...
Who the fuck died in... What the fuck are you talking about? Hold on. This will be... Okay. Jan 6, rioter dies in jail. Nope. Capitol riot, St. Augustine man. Okay, here he is. This is the charged in Capitol riot. St. Augustine man dies awaiting trial. St. Augustine resident who died last week was indicted after the judge who was received medical treatment after an asthma attack. The image from the camera showed Anderson being led to help as part of so dude had an asthma attack, was being taken to help and died. John Stephen Anderson's attorney told the judge in Washington about the death during a case status conference Friday. 61 died at September 21st at Baptist Medical Center South in Jacksonville. So obviously the site of where he was denied medical care. Obituary posted by St. John's Family Funeral Home and Crematory. The cause of death wasn't listed. Anderson started and ran a business. Obituary said he'd been raised in Michigan. Is he employed? Supported numerous conservative candidates, causes as well as religious. A visitor to the funeral home's website describes him as a complete stranger, praised him as a patriot and a man of conviction. If I show up at the service, it'll be honoring a man in his memory, not to make any sort of political statement. 8 people from North Florida brought to federal court in Jacksonville for initial hearings involving all their cases have been handled by judges in Washington, where Anderson was allowed to remain free pending trial on the condition that he not return to the city except for court business related to his trial. Can they please make it a little more difficult? At all. He'd been indicted in March on charges. The maximum punishment could have total decades in prison. His attorney argued prosecutors greatly misstated the facts and told U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras in July that the video from the Capitol contradicts the public narrative the government has put forward. Let's see. Anderson asked the court to lift an order restricting circulation. The video is highly sensitive. Contreras last month granted the request. Yeah, he wasn't in fucking jail. He got medical help. These are EMTs. St. Augustine resident John Stephen Anderson, who died last week, was indicted after January 6th, where he received medical treatment after he did not receive medical treatment unless he got medical treatment for an asthma attack at the Capitol. So he had an asthma attack on January 6th. Then he got charged with the shit he did on that day. And then he was released free on his own recognizance until his trial, and he died at the hospital. What?
And eye exams, they had their teeth fixed while they couldn't even fix them in Afghanistan. And
what? Who? Huh?
Eye exams, they had their teeth fixed while they couldn't even fix them in Afghanistan and in the areas where we arrested them. It is a shameful day in our country. And again, I encourage the grassroots time to wake up and become engaged. Go to Act for America. Folks.
Help us to make some money off this. We don't represent any of these people, of course, but we're glad to be here. Cha-ching. Throw some money our way. These puka shells are not free, okay? These were $9 at the gift stand when I was in the Caribbean, and we were like, who gives a shit? Why don't we all go on a cruise? What COVID? It's a witch hunt.
Get involved. Exactly.
Get involved. Bridget Gabriel, thank you so much for your time.
That was who they brought on, by the way, to defend Steve Bannon. Oh, God. All right. So, where is it? Here it is. So, right, from the horse's mouth, Steve Bannon, it has the show War Room Pandemic. If you've never checked it out, don't. You're not going to learn anything. I'm dead serious. Like, you won't even pick up stuff like, I want to see what the right wing thinks. Every time we're on there, it's just a mess. Right. So, but here she is in her house in Georgia talking because she's got a lot of free time. So she's got a lot of free time. So she's talking to Steve Bannon. There he is. Now the newly indicted Steve Bannon. Let's go, Bannon. Whack, whack the beep.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Sorry, what? Congressman? Please tell me he said woman.
I bring in now Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay. Maybe I haven't checked her pronouns in a while. But okay. All right.
Congressman Greene, I want to talk about, and by the way, we're having a special tomorrow. We're going to have some polls from her audio. We're going to play your audio here in a minute about the prisoners of 6 January.
The prisoners of 6 January, held by the regime, the Biden regime, as keeping these people from freedom. Although they have attorneys, and most of them could be out if they would cop to the charges that showed up in the video. But when they're like, fuck you, I didn't do that. And they're like, this is you? And like, yeah, but freedom. All right, stay in jail, asshole.
You have gone out of your way to reach out for this. Tomorrow, first hour special, 10 to 11, is going to be on the prisoners.
So this is, by the way, in case you're wondering how this works. Steve Bannon coordinated a lot of the January 6th shit. That's what he's going to get called in front of the January 6th committee on. And he's in deep shit about that kind of stuff. It's treasonous and it's awful. And she was a conduit for those very same things. And they were coordinating. And they were also talking to some of the people who went up there on January 6th. And the whole reason she's going down to the jail to talk to these folks is to make sure they keep their story straight. Otherwise, they're not going to get any breaks, and they're going to try and run interference for them if they toe the line.
Local prisoners of 6
Mafia bullshit.
January. Can you give us an update, Congressman Greene, and then we're going to play your clip.
Yes. After visiting the jail Thursday night, after months of trying to get in, Steve, there may be more.
It was terrible, I have to say.
Concerns. Julie Kelly reported after hearing some of the family members of January 6th defendants that there was an issue or an argument that took place in the jail about masks, and that there was possibly pepper spray being used or maybe even tear gas being used.
Really? On unruly prisoners? But don't you understand? They're allowed to be unruly and spit on cops and threaten their lives and threaten to murder their families if they get out. They're allowed to do that because Trump has blessed them. They are blessed.
Against the January 6th defendants. Her report included that some of the January 6th defendants, several of them may have been taken out on stretchers. So I've been trying to track down information.
Well, that's calling them weak. I think that's rude. You know what I mean? I think they could certainly, those guys are tough. They could take a big spray of tear gas right in the face. Shh.
On that, made a lot of phone calls yesterday. Haven't gotten any calls back. I'm not.
So nice to know you're effective. Have you thought of running on an I alone can fix it ticket?
I'm in district. I'm at home actually right now, so I can't go to the jail myself. But these are
the planes don't work. That's weird.
Things that continue, the types of stories that can.
That's right. Police Academy 2, by the way, which is the best one. What are you doing? I'm a vegetarian.
To come out of the jail, Steve. They're so outrageous. These are violations of their constitutional rights.
By the way, magic drop of the word outrageous. You know what we always say? When they start dropping outrageous, it's because what they're defending themselves against is true.
Everyone is guaranteed a speedy trial. Everyone is guaranteed due process. And in this country, we are supposed.
In this country, they're getting doo-doo process. Am I right, Marge? I mean, come on. Seriously? Come on. I got your due process. In all seriousness, they are getting their due process, fucko. You don't get pushed to the front of the line because mine's a patriot crime.
To be presumed innocent until proven guilty, but that's not the case for these January 6th defendants.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. But there's a preponderance of evidence that proves they may be a danger to the community and that they are unrepentantly violent. This happens all the fucking time. Do you think we turn everybody fucking loose between capture and trial? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you know what kind of horrifying hellscape cities become, hello, weird DAs, when you release people on their own recognizance or put a band around their ankle when they're accused of serial rape, murder, and armed robbery. What the fuck is wrong with you? These people tried to cave in a cop's head. Fuck them. And by the way, if they could refute the evidence against them, they'd already be out because their buddies fucked off months ago.
And, none of us agree with the violence at the Capitol.
Well, yeah, you do, because you're saying they don't deserve to be in jail, that violence is different violence, patriot violence. That's what it is. This is like Lee Greenwood violence. This is violence that smells like a 4th of July Yankee candle.
Any fighting or any of that stuff on January 6th. But what all of us should stand lockstep is together on is again.
Yes, we always want to be in lockstep. Very important. This is the thing. We're all lining up and being in the lockstep. Some people call it line dancing, but that's how the beer push started.
These egregious crimes that are happening against the January 6th defendants. And I'm to the point now where I'm demanding the jail needs to be shut down. The mayor should launch an investigation, Mayor Bowser of D.C. I'm calling on all of my Republican colleagues to join.
I had no idea that they treated serial armed robbers and carjackers who've shot people together. She's going to be like, what do you think? It's she's probably a week away from being a Justice for Julius Jones simp. Fucking hell. You don't understand, Steve. A lot of these people, if you let them out, will go right back to the communities that they were in and start murdering again. And statistically, that helps us. If you know what I'm saying, Steve. Do you get what I'm saying? Fucking hell.
In this together. I'm calling on Democrats too that constantly talk about prisons. So this is
Is that what we do? We constantly, I know, I'm always talking about prisons. Largely because I always start breaking out into the It's a Hard Knock Life remix from Austin Powers Goldmember.
Such an egregious situation and an outrage. And America, we shouldn't be having communism, but yet here.
Yeah, communism in these jails where these guys get medical treatment and food and a place to stay. This is communism. That's what these jails are. Why don't these people work for their prisons? Why don't we make these people build their own prisons and then climb inside? We should make them make their own locks.
Let me ask you.
Hang on. Communism.
You can. It's like back in my Breitbart days. I said, "Hey, look, we can attack Pelosi and Obama all we want, but we got very little punch there. But we can take on the Republican establishment. We got a lot of punch there, and we did. We changed history."
Oh yeah, yes. Please don't let me interrupt you. You punching in this situation.
They're taking them on. I understand Democrats, but here's what I don't get, and this gets back to my open about controlled opposition. Why is I hear all this talk all the time from the Republican Party about liberty and about freedom and about consent to the governed and about about this and a rule?
Or was that just bullshit, Joel? That was just bullshit.
And all of it. Why is it just Marjorie Taylor Greene and Judge Louis Gohmert and a couple of three others? Matt Gaetz is one of the leaders of this. Why is it like 3 or 4 of you guys up there? And not in the entire Republican conference or the entire Republican Party up there, and not excusing people that did things that violated the law.
Ask me.
But what you're seeing now, at least I see, is a bunch of guys are trespassing or stopping a government, procedure.
Procedure. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just stopping a government procedure with a violent insurrectionist mob that beat up cops, stomped one of their own to death, and then, of course, got another woman shot, smashed their way through windows. Again, stole things, tried to sell them to Russia, built a gallows on the Capitol. It's just, all of that together is just kind of like interrupting a government procedure. You know what I mean? It's like fuck, rolling in there, like interrupting a biopsy.
See any vast insurrection charges or insurrection claims?
No, that's interfering with the function of government, specifically the counting of the Electoral College, and using violence to do so. That's it. There's no insurrection charge. There's a series of charges around that idea. I mean, unless you want to go all the way up to firing squad, which is why they're not using that. They're using all the other things because they're being nice to these fuckers.
Insurrection coming in and trying to prove it in a court and indicting guys.
Ouch, Bob. This is like Jabba the Hutt talking to a Gamorrean guard. Owie.
A habeas corpus and all that. Where are the Republicans up there, particularly all the lawyers? No, you're not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer. But 2/3.
Yeah, and nothing in what you've said is even close to. There's not a single thing you've said that would make any of us think you even have a layman's understanding of the law.
One of the problems we don't have enough Marjorie Taylor Greens. We got too many lawyers. But if we got those lawyers, where are all those lawyers? Where are they?
Yeah, where's the lawyers? I'm supposed to get a lawyer for free. Aren't the Republicans supposed to come over here and be my lawyer for free? That's what this shit is about, by the way. And don't worry. She and Kim Kardashian are taking the same law courses.
Why are they not up there? Why is Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, because inflation.
At night, we're going to play a recording. Why are you recording it on your phone or whatever? And you got the
Yeah, why are you not rolling in there with a big production crew? Bannon's got a bunch of rig stuff. You could pop off some of those suckers. He's got a couple of, Sony A50s or whatever. A6000s. I don't know, whatever.
Judge Louis Gohmert. And Gohmert's a guy.
Congressman Louis Gohmert. He's no longer a judge. And and they, by the way, I think they're saying that because he's running for attorney general. He wants to run for attorney general.
That's a lawyer and a judge, and he'll step in step. But where are the rest of the lawyers in the Republican Party? How come they're not up there?
Why aren't they returning my phone calls?
No inquiries.
Well, they're absent, which is the main problem with our Republican Party, right, Steve?
Totally. Right, Steve? I mean, totally. They are not here. They're not at my house in Georgia or in your little, 2-story walk-up studio in Washington, D.C., or on the Chinese millionaires ship that you hang out on with hookers and stuff. They're not. They might be here, actually. I haven't looked in the kitchen in a while.
The Republican Party for decades now has been the party of talk and no action. And this is exactly why we are where we are. It took 19 Republican senators to make Joe Biden's infrastructure bill possible, which is...
By the way, I don't want to interrupt this. I just want you to know I don't want to interrupt this. Please continue.
Completely part of his Build Back Better plan. And then it took 13 Republicans in the House to help pass it, because 6 Democrats said no. If those Republicans had voted with our conference and stood against Joe Biden's radical agenda, we wouldn't have an infrastructure bill that passed.
Yes, the radical agenda of an infrastructure bill that passed. Bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed. The radical agenda of that should tell you something. If people think that bipartisanship is radical, that should tell you a little something about the cliff they are falling off of all the time.
Joe Biden signed. That wouldn't have happened. But this is who the Republican Party is, and I'm sick and tired of it. This is why I ran for Congress, and this is why many other great people are stepping up to run now. We have to change the GOP. We have to turn the GOP into the conference, into the party that represents the American people, that represents families, that represents family values, that represents...
Yeah, family values. And the first one I want to talk about is, those toddlers crossing the desert coming into the United States? We needed to dump those fuckers off in an abandoned bus in Juarez yesterday. What the fuck? Have you seen some of these kids? What are they going to do? Come over here and be secret Democrat cells?
Children, that represents freedom, that represents the worker, and not sending their jobs over to China or Mexico or India or any other country. This is who the GOP needs.
Oh, so you support the new Taiwanese chip plant that Biden got in Arizona? Yeah? You're for the new Apple plant too? You're going to celebrate that? Yeah? No? They're not going to bring that up? Next time you see Trump, by the way, bring up his Chinese ties. Just curious what he says.
And they need to embrace it, but we still have so many of them in there that are scared to death of a bad news story. They're terrified of going somewhere uncomfortable.
You're right. Republicans are just chicken shit. They just are. I mean, I can't, when you're right, you're right. Broken clock theory there, Marge. And I got to say, like, hats off. Giant big hat that was flattening the side of my hair earlier, like the lady who was just on hats off. I agree. Yeah, you and I don't agree on a lot, but one thing that we do agree on is that Republicans are lazy and self-involved and weak-kneed and disorganized and can't function, can't govern, and fall apart at the first sign of stress. So hey, you go, girl.
Like a jail, where they're actually going to have to face the fact and stand up for people that they have been running away from. And this is who the party is, and I'm tired of it. There's going to be a vote for speaker coming up, and I'm pretty sure we're going to take back the majority in 22, but it's
no.
Seen by how many seats, and it's going to be a critical vote of mine, because as it gets closer, I'm going to be...
It can't be McCarthy. All he did was yell at Trump once on the phone and then bend over and take it up the poop chute the rest of the time. So how in the world can you even make a claim that he's a leader in any ways? I mean, obviously he's smarter than you, and he's stronger than you, and better than you, and he's wiser than you, and he's the best of you, just like Trump. But still, that doesn't mean he should be the majority leader when the Republicans take over. I mean, I'd say you should take it, but I'd go give it to Louis Gohmert. You know what I mean? Old white men have been through enough. Just make up for it. That'll really, believe me, if you want to own AOC in the squad, vote for Louis Gohmert as the speaker next time. I recommend it. Seriously.
Very vocal about it, and I'm not happy right now. I'm very unhappy with what happened last week.
Yeah, I don't know. You seem happy.
I'm a member of a house that got kicked off of my committees. I paid my full dues to the NRCC, which has a lot to do with committees, but yet here 13 Republicans completely defected.
By the way, this is the same shit that Matt Gaetz was bitching about. He dumped $150,000 into the NRCC, and they gave him two committee positions, and she did too, and then they stripped her of them, and they didn't give her a refund. This is so lame.
See Pelosi their voting card. They still have their committees.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, real quick, we're over.
No one's going to jail.
Congressman, hang on 1 second. We're going to take a short break. Be right back.
Yeah. That's a man who's happy to be indicted for me and you. Yes, Steve Bannon, doobie-doo. All right, so I wanted to do something. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about the Rittenhouse shit that's going on and yada yada, and I've tried to let you guys down easy on so many fronts about this ridiculous trial. But I was trying to find, like, how can we find who's the dumbest person we can find to explain the Kyle Rittenhouse thing to us? And I think it has to be Sean Hannity. If there's, who, by the way, I don't know if it's the quality of the video, or is it just me, or does he look like he aged 5 years in 2 weeks? Is there something going on? Is it just me? Is it sodium? What's happening? What's going on with your diet, Sean? I don't recommend it. Bongino. We didn't have a Bongino. We do have a Bongino for something else. But I figured I'd go for the heavy hitters right now. But this is Hannity. This is called Biden and Media Rushing to Judgment on Kyle Rittenhouse.
We begin this night with a Fox News alert. Day 8 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is now officially in the books. Now only
coming up, a one-on-one with Wendy Rittenhouse. Okay.
closing arguments remain, and then the jury, they will begin deliberation. Of course, the entire case could still be thrown out. The prosecutors have been credibly accused of misconduct, and their case is extremely weak. Wendy Rittenhouse, Kyle's mother, will join us for an exclusive interview tonight. And Greg,
I love when Sean Hannity has a guest in studio, so he has to act like he gives a fuck. Like, you can tell she's at the building, or that she's on camera, like, waiting, and so she can see him. So he's like, oh, not just my staff is watching, so I have to pretend I'm a real newsman.
And Professor Alan Dershowitz, they'll be here with...
Oh, good. To argue if... will Dershowitz be there arguing that, hey, since people want to try Kyle Rittenhouse as an adult, can I fuck a kid? Thank you, Dersh. We'll be right back.
The latest legal analysis. Now, tonight, many are questioning why this case...
What is this? Fight Back YouTube. Worked as a guard, advanced life support, volunteer. Okay.
Ever made it into a courtroom at all? Was there overcharging involved?
Well, he's underage and he has a gun. And some question about where he got it, whether she should have been there in the first place, whether he intended to be there to shoot or not. And that's what's going to play out in the trial. That's why.
Then, of course, the contemptible behavior of the prosecution. We have compelling video evidence showing Kyle Rittenhouse being threatened, being chased, violently assaulted by an angry mob. Look at your screen. One man trying to right there stomp on his face and stomp his face into the pavement. Another attempted to grab his firearm, while yet another man, you can see it right there on your screen, literally pointed a loaded handgun at Rittenhouse's face. According to eyewitness accounts and video evidence, all three individuals who were shot were attempted...
By the way, this is the BG on the scene footage is what they were mainly using. Turns out the FBI has other footage of it from the air, and then there was also drone footage. There was a big thing in the trial to work out whether or not they could use the drone footage.
To cause great bodily harm, potentially...
I thought he was a mass shooter. He's not a mass shooter.
To the then 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse before...
By underage kid illegally bought a gun and crossed state line and protected property. No one has it. He didn't... The crossing state lines thing doesn't mean anything. That's a talking point. It means nothing. Please, don't give Sean Hannity reason to think he's owning any libs just because we all have the same eyes.
Discharged his legal weapon. Now, which according to...
No. Technically, he was underage. He couldn't have the weapon. It's a misdemeanor, but let's not pretend it was a legal weapon. By the way, Rosenbaum, because of his previous convictions for, I think, hold on. I want to get these right. So if we're talking about, yeah, Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. Those were the two guys that were killed. Gauge gross coins found shell casings. And this is the first Rittenhouse shooting scene, including video of arson suspect. Blah blah blah. They had misdemeanor bail jumping. He couldn't possess or consume controlled substances without a prescription. No contact, including residence, third party carry on Bridge Inn. Misdemeanor case for battery, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse. Charged by a grand jury with 11 counts. This is Rosenbaum. This is the guy, the primary guy. Newly released documents obtained by Wisconsin right now from the Pima County, Arizona clerk of courts. By the way, this is what I would argue pushes back against the idea that Rosenbaum was there as a Black Lives Matter or Antifa rioter or looter or protester. He was an opportunistic infection in a lot of ways. Confirmed Rosenbaum was charged by a grand jury with 11 counts of child molestation and inappropriate sexual activity with children, including anal rape. Wow. The victims were 5 boys ranging in age from 9 to 11 years old. He was convicted on 2 amended counts as part of a plea deal. That's his inmate photo. That's the first dude who was shot. he's a registered sex offender in the state of Wisconsin. This is not. This has nothing to do with the guilt or innocence of Rittenhouse at all, because he couldn't have known this at the time. You don't know the. You can't know the legal background, and they're not going to bring it in court as to who they were, unless they were trying to create some sort of idea that this person is a threat because they, but I don't think he shot him because he was afraid of being sexually assaulted. Yeah, he knew none of this when he shot him. Right, exactly. And then, so that's the, and that's the Gage dude. Yeah, he's basically been kind of run-of-the-mill rioter during a bunch of this stuff. None of this is surprising. And this is Huber. It multiple counts of domestic abuse. Pled guilty to them, forfeiture, drug paraphernalia, whatever. The big one was, I think, use of a dangerous weapon, choking his girlfriend, strangulation, suffocation, felony. Pled guilty, domestic abuse. Use of a dangerous weapon, 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 domestic abuse. Now, none of this is going to, like I said, none of this has anything to do with the legality of of whether or not Rittenhouse was defending himself. But the idea is that these guys, these weren't random rioters who decided to take action. There's a lot of other people around. Those people didn't bum rush this situation. So, and then this guy, I don't know much about him. The guy who was shot in the bicep, except he's the guy who, if you're gonna say the case was completely blown up for the prosecution, and the defense basically had a slam dunk, it's all Gage Grosskreuz's fault. The guy who got shot in the bicep, because he lied. He said, Gage is a paramedic, but he lied to the police that he had a gun. He said there was a gun on the ground. He lied that his hands were up. He lied that he wasn't advancing on him, like all of it. And the problem is they cross-examined him, and he said correct on the stand. So it was the single worst cross-examination of the whole trial was Gage Grosskreutz, because he said all this stuff and he was like, "What's up?" while he was saying it, and then he got cross-examined and it totally blew a hole in his stuff. Like, it was terrible. And the problem is, just tell the truth from the fucking beginning. You could arguably say that I pulled a gun because I saw him shoot two other people or whatever, and I thought my only chance to survive was to shoot him, and he shot me in the bicep. So it was like a draw as far as self-defense, and you could make a way better case if you'd just been honest from the fucking jump. Yeah, Gage was a good guy with a gun. If he wanted to kill Kyle, why'd he get so close? I don't know, but he was pointing the gun at him when he got close. He was pushing the gun to the side, and he was firing like this is the hand thing that they were doing. And everybody agreed, and he agreed that that's what he was doing. So that's just the reality of it. And the problem is, they think this is like a way to own the libs. So they're jumping in behind this kid and making him a hero in a situation, that, well,
law would make this a clear case of self-defense, whereby an individual may use force if he or she, quote, reasonable.
My favorite part about this, by the way, and we've talked about this, I've talked about this to all of you guys, but the funny part is that Sean Hannity is reading this for the first time and acting like he has a fucking point.
Believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself. Now,
which, by the way, my assertion is that Gage, the guy with the gun, could have made that assertion. Even though he was illegally carrying a gun, he didn't have a right to carry, but he was carrying one. He could have said, I feared for my life and I was going to shoot him. Yes, he shot me in that process, but I was going to shoot him because I believed he was an active shooter or blah, blah, blah. And therefore, and you could have actually, made the case that this was part of, Kyle acting on the scattering of, the sort of lawlessness of the situation and acting on it. You could make an argument from the prosecution standpoint if your witness fucking told the truth. Why can't Gage use stand his ground? Because at the time he was approaching. You can't pursue someone and do stand your ground. That's why stand your ground. You don't have a duty to retreat, but if you advance on anybody, that goes away. Don't get me started on the Zimmerman Trayvon Martin thing. That's not stand your ground. He hunted that kid down. Totally different situation.
Prosecution is obviously desperate. Yesterday, prosecutors were reprimanded over and over again by the presiding judge.
What a curious choice of words.
For impugning Rittenhouse's right.
I may have stayed out of conversation and comment, including how it's been in court all day, every day for 10 days. No, but I've seen a bunch of it, and I've been following the case since before it went to court, and it's pretty cut and dry. That's what I'm saying. Largely, it's not even debatable.
Remain silent. Some accuse them of intentionally causing a mistrial or trying to, in order to get a clean slate.
Yes, the defense said that.
Begin a new trial because it's going so badly. Today, the judge continued to admonish prosecutors for their
for ordering Asian food and making it languish in Long Beach Harbor, or for fucking with his phone and putting Lee Greenwood's "Proud to be an American" on his phone, or giving him an American flag tissue box while he's up there. All right.
Behavior yet again. Take a look.
Take a look.
Real America's Voice have any sort of political bias?
Yes, it fucking does.
Or agenda or anything like
that. By the way, Real America's Voice, that the dude who, maybe they'll show him in a second. Show his face.
What is the problem?
It goes to the bias of the witness, Your Honor.
The bias in what respect? I assume that people... as I commented at the beginning, this is not a political trial.
That's an attorney.
Yeah, by the way, that whole exchange where he's trying to make isn't Real America Voice like right wing? Of course it fucking is. But the guy's there to all he's there to do is say, is that your video? Did they ask for your video? Yes. Did you give them all the video? Yes, I did. Like, did you remove any video? No, I didn't. Did you give them half the video? No, I didn't. Is this all and you swear under oath? Yes, that's it. Like, who gives a shit? The video doesn't have, it's not in maggot vision, right? It's just stupid. This dude is a bit of a fuck up. Let's be abundantly clear.
That you have out of Madison? No objections at all.
And by the way, look at the other prosecutor. He's in that position most of this trial. Like it's so funny. You liberals are letting Hal down. Come on, why? His video is being used as evidence. He altered it. He didn't. He took the two shots that were the length of the experience and he put them both together, but he also gave him the raw files. It doesn't matter. He didn't alter the video. The video shows the whole thing. It's in there. The whole event is on there. He just cut them and put them together. He went, here's the first video. This is the video from my chest cam. This is the video from my phone. And then he just spliced them end to end and gave them. And then he's under oath. If he doesn't do it, by the way, I hope he's lying. Throw him in fucking jail.
What's the relevance of this?
Well, Your Honor, we've had a lot of questions about other people.
What's the relevance of this?
I would like to know why he felt the need to retain.
By the way, dude is a douchebag, like of the highest order. Straight up, totally aligned with Bannon. And by the way, let me see if I can, where is it? Yeah. See this little logo over here? Real America's Voice? That's what he was talking about. That's the organization. This fucker, this guy right here, works with and for Steve Bannon. And has ever since. He was running around filming rioters and that kind of stuff and creating like cut scenes to go, making ads last year while Trump was president going, Biden's America. Yeah, he's calling for civil war. He's a douchebag.
An attorney to provide video in this case. I think it goes to bias. I think it goes to credibility. It's been asked of other witnesses.
Let's take the lunch break.
retain an attorney? That's how desperate they are? A guy that was literally a witness that swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God? Now, clearly this case is not going well for the prosecution.
Asshole, every witness says that. You have to balance their oath against whether or not they're telling the fucking truth. Do you think that it's like some sort of automatic placebo against lying? What the fuck are you talking about? He said he promised to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So does everybody sitting in front of the January 6th committee. Why don't you cover that shit?
Now reports that Kenosha and perhaps even other cities are bracing for, sadly, another round of violent riots. Well, maybe.
No. No. Maybe. I hope so.
Cheney and Madam Kinzinger and the Democrats, maybe they should form a committee. They should look into about 534 riots from the summer of 2020.
Well, asshole, they don't have to. This is just Portland. 74 people just in the Portland arrest. There's that one. Here's police and FIA. I'm trying to raise a question. Okay, federal arrests in Portland. Most charges are misdemeanors. That's true. Almost half federal cases against Portland rioters have been thrown out. Have been dismissed. That's because most people are just dangling. The vast majority of the crowd. You're looking for the 3 arsonists, right? Let's see. FBI arrest 2 Oregon. Oh, that's Capitol. Sorry, Sean. Yeah, those guys. Let's see. I just put like FBI 2020 riots arrests. Let's see. Tracking federal and non-federal case related to... Okay, here we go. List of federal riot cases charged. Let's see. Downloading the spreadsheet of... 1,429 cases, including 367 federal. Well, my goodness. Allow. Dink. Hold on one second. Try to get a new Finder window. Here we go. Let's see. Downloads. There we go. This is a CSV file. I have to have something that opens that, right? Keynote, something opens it. I mean, it's a big file, I would guess. No, it's not that big. Open with other. That would be, let's see, notes. What the hell? Text edit, utilities? Guess not. All right. Why is it opening in Premiere Pro? The heck? How do you open a file like that in Premiere Pro? Get out of here. Hold on. I have to shut this window down. Anyway, we'll just go. Let's see. These are all, just so you know. There you go. These are BLM protests, George Floyd protest prosecution, summer fall protests. These are the ones there. 1,429 cases, including 367 federal. I'm sure Sean knows about all of them.
The riots that killed dozens
CSV,
of people,
which should be
injured.
That should be Keynote, right? Numbers, right? Yeah, numbers would do it.
Thousands of police officers. They were pelted with bricks and rocks and bottles and Molotov cocktails and worse.
And so, since not all of those people, yeah, that's what I thought. It's an Excel document, and it just wouldn't open in it. It won't even let me look at numbers. Something's weird about it. I will fix that part of it, because I'm sure we'll find some interesting shit in there. Hold on one second. And this is how the show goes in a lovely afternoon. Doobie-doo. Let's go over here. Let's go to numbers. I'm fairly certain we have this in here. Okay, there we go. Could I believe it was oh, I see. That's why. Because this is the old computer. So it doesn't, it's not up to date. Wamp, wamp. All right.
And also resulted in billions of dollars in stolen businesses, other businesses.
Billions of dollars in stolen businesses. Hey, what? Where are you going with that target? What? Where are you going with that target? It's mine. The whole target? Yeah. All right, move along, but don't do it again.
The ground. People like Kamala Harris, your vice president, out there promoting bail funds. January 6th, we said it on day one was wrong. It can't happen in this country.
Well, it did happen, fucko. It did. And no matter what, you can burn down a target, you can loot it, and it's insured and it will never affect our democracy. It's just a crime. It's a normal crime. Something as a whole level up difference when you attack the Capitol, fucko.
People that break the law need to be held accountable. Or what about the people that were involved in the riots in 2020? By the way, Liz Cheney, where's that?
1,429 cases, including 327 federal cases. A lot of misdemeanor charges as well. Is that cool? How many of those rioters do we have to charge before we're allowed to charge the people who tried to beat cops to death, fucko?
Committee. Where's your discussion about the Constitution on that issue? Do you believe in equal justice and application of our laws? If you do, it's time for you to speak up. Now, the media mob, by the way, and top Democrats.
All right. I see you've been going to the Newsmax store for your graphics. It's really well put together. I get what you're doing here. Quality.
All told, they're mindless followers from the get-go.
This is my Hibby's back. I appreciate your concern. This is my first kombucha in 2 weeks.
Case that Kyle Rittenhouse was guilty. As always, they do what they always do. They rush to judgment. They ignore due process, the presumption of innocence.
Oh, is that what they do? That's what they do? I'm sorry. I was too busy being accused of Marxist, socialist, communist infiltration to support the Chinese takeover of the country to hear what you were saying. Now, what again? Due process, right? Hearing people out and making sure.
And of course, they create an atmosphere where people expect a certain outcome. That often doesn't happen because their information is wrong, faulty, and political. For example, on the campaign trail without...
There's no other way to put it. The president of the United States refused to disavow white supremacists on the debate stage last night. That's true. By the way, he framed this whole thing, and by the way, he takes a picture with two white supremacists, and he's doing the OK sign. Now, again, he was a minor when it happened. Different category. But there's a reason why in this video, let's see, when was this? September 30th, 2020. Joe Biden tweet September 30, 2020. Yeah, here it is. Wait. This is a video, not a still. And I would like to show you something very distinct. This is fucktastic. This is what Sean Hannity does for a living. This is that tweet. This is the video that plays.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Add to the violence. Add to the violence as we saw in Kenosha. That would be what the biggest argument about Kyle Rittenhouse is. He did not have to be there, especially armed. He did not, it's not the OK sign, it means white power. No, it's the OK sign. I'm not giving away the fucking OK sign to white supremacists because they want to use it for a while. Piss off with that nonsense. I think that, and by the way, we should eventually try to give the Tibetans the swastika back. The Germans fucked it up. But don't worry, I'm not going to try and bring back the Chaplin mustache anytime soon. I'm not that much of a hardliner. So as we saw in Kenosha. This is what he's talking about. Add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw
in Kenosha.
Kenosha. That is the argument. So these guys showed up, and they did. There was a group of them. This underage boy joined them, ended up killing 2 people and wounding a 3rd. And all because when this shit happened, Trump was cool with it. Look at that shit. These guys were yelling, "Jews will not replace us." This is a compilation video that Staff put together. There's no way to put it. The President of the United States refused to disavow white supremacists on the debate stage last night.
Tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
Are you
I'm
prepared to specifically
do it?
I
would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white
supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
But what they said in this, add to the violence in a number of these cities, including, as we saw in Kenosha. Adding to the violence. By the way, this doesn't even make the case that he's a white supremacist, or that the other folks. You could even say it's soft peddling the Kenosha dudes who were standing up that they were white supremacists. Remember, he shot 3 white guys. But this is very telling that that's where he froze it. The bigger question, Sean Hannity, is why you didn't freeze it here. This is why. Why did you not freeze it on that frame? This has nothing to do with the Rittenhouse trial or anything. It's Sean Hannity trying to use it as filler for his bullshit argument to protect Trump from everything that he has done.
Any evidence whatsoever, Joe Biden accused Kyle Rittenhouse of being a white supremacist. Now,
no, he didn't. That was based on a question from the moderator, and he's saying they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha, as we've seen in Portland. Adding to the violence. Oh, this is way scarier than a KKK march. At least the KKK are hiding their faces. They have some sense of shame and awareness. These dudes were doing it right out in the open, yelling, "Jews will not replace us." It's fucked up. It's way worse. But please, please cut to him, to Sean Hannity selling like Robert E. Lee statues on Hannity.com.
Congresswoman Presley also accused him, quote, of white supremacy.
17-year-old white supremacist domestic terrorist drove across state lines armed with an AR-15. He shot and killed 2 people who had assembled to affirm value, dignity, and worth of Black lives. Fix your damn headlines. That was where she was wrong. And how is that anybody else's fault?
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who frequently speaks out against mass incarceration.
Hal, did you see Gutfeld last night? Kyle did the right thing, and the defense said keep the black reverends out of the courtroom. Those are 2 different cases. The defense that said that is in the Ahmaud Arbery case, not in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. It should come as no surprise that none of the back it up. Al Sharpton is nowhere near the Rittenhouse trial, nor would he be.
He tweeted this week, lock up Kyle Rittenhouse and throw away the key. And meanwhile, even basketball star LeBron James posted a video of Kyle Rittenhouse, emotional, crying yesterday in court, tweeting, quote, laughing face emojis with the caption, quote, what tears? I didn't see one. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon.
The whole thing, that boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court. Is that how people tear up? Because I've always had to, use real emotion as an actor, or at the very least, pluck out a nose hair.
Heads before walking into court. Really, LeBron? One fake news CNN hack accusing Rittenhouse of fake crying or crocodile tears. And not to be outdone, MSDNC referring to the trial as white privilege on steroids. You can't make this up. Take a look.
When Rittenhouse got emotional, it may have come across to the jury as a genuine expression of remorse, or on the other hand, maybe it was crocodile tears designed to elicit sympathy. This is
right. They were talking about, by the way, this is the context of whether or not you put somebody on in their own trial on the stand, and whether being emotional on the stand helps or hurts your case. Am I the only person who watches true crime? Have you not seen this exact same argument about, dudes are like, I just want my wife back. And you're like, well, then you should have put her in a barrel.
Privilege on steroids. Rittenhouse testified that after he shot all of these people, he approached the cops and told them that he'd been involved in a shooting. And the officers told him, be careful so that you don't get pepper sprayed and go home. It's impossible to imagine that happening to a black or brown person.
White privilege on steroids, crocodile tears, lock them up, throw away the key. What happened to due process, presumption of innocence?
Did Paul Butler say lock him up and throw away the key? When you talk about the emotional manipulation of a long-running trial, like any of us who went through the OJ trial or like Phil Spector, any of that shit, everybody talks about whether it's emotionally manipulative or back and forth, but I didn't hear him say that. Did you? Paul Butler's not the kind of guy who would say that.
Rittenhouse testified that after he shot all of these people, he approached the cops and told them that he'd been involved in a shooting. And the officers told him, be careful so that you don't get pepper sprayed and go home. It's impossible to imagine that happening to a black or brown person.
White privilege on steroids, crocodile tears, lock them up, throw away the key.
Who the fuck got to that? Anytime anytime there's a trial that draws a lot of attention, it's a fucking tennis match and all the people. Yes, the Casey Anthony trial, exactly. The whole fucking back and forth with the girl who just went missing, and her, like, everybody watching the video of him and where he is, and did he really go hiking, and now he's fucking dead, and the whole thing's wrapped up. But during that, everybody's like, I don't know, it's sketchy. His parents are acting this way. Are they really upset? Are they, for fuck's sake. But where do you get lock him up and throw away the key in the middle of this? Yes, Gabby Petito, thank you.
What happened to due process, presumption of innocence?
He's getting that. He is getting that. He has all of those things.
Since until being proven guilty. Look at this actual quote from NBC News.
I'm sorry. So you're presuming Hunter Biden is innocent then of all the stuff that you've accused him of for the last fucking 3 years or whatever the hell. Right? Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty?
Convicted, he'll become a right-wing martyr. If he's freed, it's a message to others like him that prison won't be in their future. Even worse.
Yeah, that's a concern. Right. That there are people who would read both directions that way. Why would that be a surprise?
Now deleted tweet.
Yeah, Benghazi. Right. Benghazi. What about Hillary's emails? Did she get due process, Sean, during that whole thing?
Yes, News, that they basically claimed Rittenhouse murdered 2 men. That is yet to be determined. That will be up to the jury, and most likely, unless, of course, this case gets thrown out with prejudice.
Well, again, that's immaterial. Did they actually say that? Because he didn't actually say that. It's silly. Hold on. I mean, I don't know this part of it. Where you go? This quote. What is this? CBS slammed. Rittenhouse testified he murdered 2 men, straight up libelous. Okay. CBS slammed Rittenhouse. CBS deletes tweet. And oh, hold on. Check this out. Welcome to Fox News. CBS deletes tweet stating Rittenhouse testified he murdered 2 men after backlash. CBS slammed for libelous wording. What the fuck? Why you got Kamala? What'd she have to do with this? Readers were infuriated. CBS tweeted that Kyle Rittenhouse testified in court that he murdered 2 men. He's charged with 2 counts. Attorney said during the thing, this is the Rittenhouse testified in his murder trial yesterday, breaking down in tears as he told the jury he murdered 2 men at a Black Lives Matter protest. Yeah, that's not what he said at all. Yeah, that's why they took it down. And it was CBS Mornings, where I go for all my hard news. CBS Mornings? Yeah, so going to be a back and forth on that. Yeah, so they put that up. They probably meant killed or shot or whatever, and then they replaced it. Who cares? There's nobody on the jury is seeing CBS Mornings tweets.
That is yet to be determined. That will be up to the jury. And
it's an excellent point, guys. P.S. Sean, tell us about the Clinton body count again, you hypocritical fuck.
Most likely, unless, of course, this case gets thrown out with prejudice. Now, these outlets, these celebrities, these Democrats, they do this time and time again. They should all be ashamed of themselves. They're vilifying an 18-year-old man, declaring he's guilty because of what? Because of their partisan political beliefs? Have any of them ever bothered to watch the tape? Have they bothered to look?
I did. That's why you didn't hear any of that shit from me. The nice thing, Sean, is that I don't have to get out over my skis to call you a fucknut and call you a liar and a hypocrite. And one of the reasons why I push back on the misreadings of and the lies that are told about this whole thing amongst my political sphere, the reason I push back against that stuff is not to bum people out, but to keep us from being bait for this kind of bullshit. And yeah, the sniffing is, it's a lot.
Any of the evidence in this case? Did they not see the star prosecution witness admit that he pointed a loaded gun at Kyle Rittenhouse before Kyle shot him? On this program, we make it a policy. We never rush to judgment. We believe.
Oh, fuck off. Get We never rush to judgment. We don't rush to judgment.
It is now the party of anti-Trump rage and psychosis. And for some reason, even impeaching Trump apparently is not enough. We had Speaker Pelosi now apparently telling senior Democrats she'd like to see Trump behind bars. Based on no actual crime, she wants a political opponent.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sean, Trump and yes, this is the whole thing. Hold on. Lock her up. Let's see. Sean Hannity, Fox News. Hannity accused of hypocrisy on lock her up. There we go. Fox News host Sean Hannity is being criticized for hypocrisy after criticizing Speaker Pelosi's comments about wanting to see President Trump in prison as despicable, but essentially supporting the famous cheers of President Trump's rallies directed towards Hillary Clinton of lock her up. Hannity issued a fiery tirade against Pelosi. Well, flatulent, I would say, but sure. That's the same clip, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so they're going back to that. In context, Sean Hannity is conflicting remarks on jailing political opponents. We don't rush to judgment here. We do not. That's what happens in political. Yeah, this is the main quote from this. A 2016 episode of Hannity's radio show was titled "Clinton Should Be in Jail." Morning Minute. Clinton should be in jail. 8:12.
So during Sunday night's presidential debate, Donald Trump said that Hillary Clinton would be in jail if he were president over her mishandling of classified information. Now, Trump said that people's lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what Hillary did, and he's absolutely correct. 30-year-old Navy sailor Christian Saucier. In 2009, when the 22-year-old Christian took 6 photos of classified areas in a submarine on his cell phone, well, since then he was charged with mishandling classified information. Guess what? He got 1 year in a federal prison. Now, he's going to be leaving his 1-year-old daughter and his wife to report to prison today. Meanwhile, we know Hillary had at least 110 emails with classified information on her private server, and the FBI said it was possible that hostile actors gained access to her personal account. Yet Hillary Clinton gets to run for president.
Yeah, I mean, she should be in jail for what's possible, and also what's classified versus what's classified top secret, or what's classified as a military secret, kind of different. But anyways, just for the record, the best, and again, most of this shit, when people get caught up in the details of something like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which will come and go and be relatively meaningless, what it is another notch in Sean Hannity's hypocrisy matrix. Hold on. Whoops.
Process. We believe in the presumption of innocence. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's why we believe in the presumption of innocence, guys. That's why the Sean Hannity show Morning Minute was called, what's this? Clinton should be given the presumption of innocence. I'm pretty sure I got to blow that up. Yeah, there it is. Clinton deserves the presumption of shit. I got to work on my reading comprehension. Reading is fun and dumb and mental. Maybe I can get Bongino over here. He can translate this shit for me, because apparently I am reading this differently than Sean Hannity is saying I should read it. We believe in due process. Get fucked, you fire hydrant in a suit.
If you're a liberal, conservative, Democrat, or Republican, we believe in the rule of law and our Constitution.
Totally. That's why this is, of course, that's what we believe. Nice try, Leon. No. The Clinton body count thing is cartoonishly stupid. So yeah, totally, bro. Yeah. I appreciate you. Let's see. It's 3. These are his show quotes. Here's just a few examples of Hannity's comments with links to the additional context. Based on what you know, do you think Hillary Clinton should go to jail over the server scandal? Let us know what you think. Can Hillary go to jail? We'll examine that next. Hillary should be happy she's not in jail or not being prosecuted, in my opinion. I'm watching these other channels. Never before in the history of this country has anyone said that the opponent should be in jail. I'm like, never before in the history of the country did anyone break the law like she did. Presumption of innocence. Hillary Clinton, follow my words. The media won't say it. She should be in jail, not on the campaign trail. It's about time somebody said it. Hillary Clinton is campaigning to be the next president. She should be the one in jail. Presumption of innocence. If you or I or anybody in this audience did anything close to what Hillary Clinton did, you would be put in jail. That was the president during the second presidential debate, including myself, think Hillary Clinton needs to be prosecuted or at least investigated. Why isn't Hillary in jail, Jay? So yeah, it's that whole fucking due process thing. Yeah. Beyond serious stuff. This is go to jail type of things. That's the whole thing. If you or I, they did this whole thing. Anybody else would be in jail by now. Comey, the Obama Justice Department were protecting Hillary for laws she broke, and we'd be put in jail for. There are very, very nervous, rightly so, people like Hillary Clinton. They should be nervous. People will go to jail, I promise you. Sean, do we weigh those against the other promises you've told in your life? Equal justice would mean Hillary goes to jail. That sounds like the presumption of innocence. Doesn't matter. That's it, right? Sean, tell us again. Sorry, man. I was just run that by me again. Fuck stick.
Rush to judgment. We believe in due process.
Hold on.
On this program, we make it a policy. We never rush to judgment. We believe in due process. We believe in the presumption of innocence. Doesn't matter if you're a liberal, conservative, Democrat, or Republican. We believe in the rule of law and our Constitution. And this is important. We look at the evidence. We make phone calls. We research. We do investigative reporting. We follow the truth wherever it is. That's why when you look at the track record of this program in particular, I was right about Richard Jewell. That's why we were right on the Duke lacrosse case. That's why we were right.
Richard Jewell? Are you going to say you were wrong about Benghazi and the fucking server? How about that?
The UVA case. That's right. Why we were right about Ferguson, Missouri, and Cambridge, and Baltimore, and so many other cases. We actually took the time, like in the Duke lacrosse case, I met with the families. In Ferguson, I actually talked to my sources on the ground that told me very early on there were eyewitnesses, many of them, that corroborate the story of Officer Darren Wilson. Anyone in the media care to do that? Any of these Democrats?
You talked to your sources on the ground? You couldn't even go to Ferguson?
Would stars, do they ever make phone calls? I doubt it. Democrats, mob, Hollywood, their own political beliefs and feelings are much more important than what.
P.S. Guys, for the record, chat room, don't get upset at anything that Sean Hannity says. This is blather. Don't let it wind you up. Don't let the seriousness of the issues weigh on your opinion of this inserious man. Okay? Don't get dragged around by this. The illusion of importance.
Represent journalism, truth, and justice. For them,
Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Now I got to do one more at least. Okay. During the Benghazi attack, a stand-down order was given and our troops were told to change their clothes 4 times. Mostly false. Hannity misleads about was the United States military response to Benghazi and Libya hampered by the State Department couldn't decide what troops should wear? The stand-down order. The attack on the mission compound happened at 9:42 p.m. on September 11, 2012, when 7 American staff members were inside, along with 5 diplomatic security agents. In addition, the United States was also using local militia to help provide protection. So there were 3 armed members of the February 17th Martyrs Brigade who lived on the compound and helped provide security. According to the Benghazi Committee report, a frantic call for help immediately went out to the CIA annex about a mile away. The annex security team, known as GRS, started getting their gear together as annex officials made fruitless calls trying to contact local groups, including the February 17 militia they had been working with. Their goal, find out who was involved in the fight and whether they could get additional equipment. Let's see. Chris Perino, former Ranger, is one of the men who rushed to the compound from the CIA. 30 minutes we were told to wait, he told Hannity. Twice the word wait was used. Once the word stand down was used. But to me, that's semantics. Not exactly. The dictionary definition of stand down order means your force is no longer on alert or operational. The chief of the annex was adamant that he never told the security team to actually stand down, only to wait while the members of the security team reported hearing the phrase stand down. The narrative in the GOP report offers no evidence of that, contrary to Hannity's claim. The team was told it wasn't going to be sent to help. Assistance to Tripoli. It was around the annex team, blah, blah, blah. Just after 11th, Obama gave clear directions to do everything possible to save Americans, according to the report. It's just after 11. At 11:23 p.m., with Stevens missing, State Department personnel were evacuated to the CIA annex. 12:30 a.m., a 6-man security team was dispatched to Benghazi from the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli. 1 a.m., the Defense Secretary Leon Panetta had unequivocally ordered troops to deploy. At the time, another mob was gathering at the CIA annex where the people had been evacuated. 1:30 a.m., the 6-member Tripoli team arrived at the Benghazi airport, but it took hours to arrange transportation to the annex. There was a delay because they wanted to get to Stevens, who was reportedly in a hospital. When they learned that he had been pronounced dead, they had to figure out which militia group at the airport could safely get them to the CIA annex. They arrived just in time to repel an attack at 5:15 a.m., where mortar fire hitting the roof killed personal security specialist Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Coincidentally, it was Libyan forces, who were former loyalists of Muammar Gaddafi, whose regime was toppled a year earlier, who got the Americans out of the compound to the Benghazi airport in 50 heavily armed security vehicles. The report says a CIA operative stumbled onto the group while trying to get help. We are seeing the Justice Department treat American parents as domestic terrorists under the Patriot Act. False. 3-hour delay over. Fleet anti-terrorism security teams, FAST, based in Rota, Spain, had been ordered to Benghazi. They had no way to get to Libya. The call for C-130 came in the middle of the night to Ramstein. Du Hast. At the time, the last evacuees had left Benghazi. The Marines were still waiting for transport. 2 planes touched down around noon. They were loaded by 1 p.m. Neither the Republican report nor the minority report released by Democratic members on June 27th offers a solid explanation for the 3-hour delay. The GOP report quotes the platoon leader, who is not named, as testifying that Marines were told multiple times to change from camouflage to civilian attire and back again. In all, there were 4 changes. There was indecision because some officials didn't want it to appear the arrival of the Marines constituted a United States invasion of Libya, which would have sparked violence. State was very, very concerned about what the footprint would look like in Tripoli. They didn't want it to look like we were invading. But why that took 3 hours to resolve is a mystery. A transcript of the platoon commander's interview shows he was getting his information from his his company commander in the next plane. The committee did not interview the company commander. It's also not quite clear why the troops, who were carrying both sets of clothing, didn't just take off and change into appropriate attire just before landing. We posed the question to the White House, and the DoD didn't hear back. Finally, just to add confusion, the newest account differs in its details from the House Armed Services Committee report, again authored by Republicans, from February 2014. It said that General Martin Dempsey, a former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told the committee that once the FAST team got underway, it landed at a forward basing location so the Marines could change into civilian clothes. The latest report makes no mention of the stop. So that's the 3 hours. Okay. But I'm sure it was all Hillary's fault. She told them to stand down.
The politics seems to be the only thing that matters. It's short-sighted. It is dishonest. Frankly, it's immoral. No matter
whatever
happens with this case, I cannot give you the outcome at this hour. Kyle Rittenhouse and his family, they deserve better than that from these people with high profiles.
Shut the fuck up. You centered on him in that when they were talking about the expansion of violence. All right, so, there's so much. All right, we have to go here because I don't know what the fuck Glenn Beck is wearing. This is Mohegan Sun hiking Glenn Beck, Fisher Price man, right? This do we have any idea? Yeah, what this outfit is? I don't know what's happening here. The dead people Rittenhouse killed deserve better than that. Okay, both killings were in self-defense. They're going to come down on self-defense. It's gonna happen that way. The third one in the injuring was a self-defense wound, and it's not going to go any other way. Do not wind yourself up into thinking it's going to go any other way. I'm telling you, I love you guys, but stop putting any weight or emotional otherwise on that shit. It's an homage to Bannon's 3 shirts. Yeah, this is, I don't know what the fuck this is. He must be freezing. His Q animals. It's like a new version of Garanimals, but with Q clothing. So this is okay. You have to understand. If it wasn't for Panic, Glenn Beck and Russell Brand would have no fucking shows. Like, everybody else is definitely tipping shit up. There's a dude. Let me show you something. I don't know if you guys watch or check out some stuff, and I have a broad batch of what I watch on here. But for fuck's sake, there's one dude. He calls himself Johnny Bravo. He does stock shit. He does he's a swing trader. Used to teach high school economics. Now he does this and he does videos. All of his fucking thumbnails are black and white and look like this. Everything is terrible. It's over. Urgency. This is alarming. Urgent news. Be prepared now. Alarming news. There's so many of these alarming news, Urgency, it's over. Be prepared. Worse than 2008. It's coming. Economy over. Prepare for chaos. Red flags. Prepare for chaos. Be warned. It's chaos. It's catastrophic. Alarming losses. Be prepared now. The crash is because it's coming. Exposed, flashing red. This is dire. This is big. Be ready now. No help. Alarming news. This is catastrophic. Be warned. It's coming. Flashing red. Default panic. Urgency out of control. It's chaos. Everything is warning, warning, warning. For fucking ever. Like this. Non-stop credit collapse. It's chaos. Now, now, one would think, and someone like yours truly will often go back and look at, say, shit like this from, I don't know, 5 months ago. And notice these things don't get, where do you go from here? Where the fuck? This is his videos forever. They don't change over time. How the fuck am I supposed to think? Yes, Russell Brand's like a vegan who eats meat and pretends it's vegetables. That's a great example. But this is nonstop, right? And by the way, it works. Every single one of these videos has at least 30,000 views. Most are above that. He's been increasingly getting more over time. So this is like 40 minutes ago. He just put this, it'll be 5K. This was a day ago, yesterday. It's 43, 54, 53. Most around this range, right? And he's cashing in. It's the videos are almost all the same length. They're about between 15 and 20 minutes long. Everything is fucking freak out. Every fucking thing. And the same thing is true if I go, let's see. So if you go to, yeah, here you go. This is, look, shut the fuck up. Don't care, like, whatever, fuck off. So if you look at Russell Brand's, so you're right, it wasn't right about Russia. All these are pro-Trump things. Like, ever since he's shifted towards a pro-Trump thing, there's been a huge jack in his viewership. Oh, this. So you lied, Mr. President. This is him shaking hands with the Saudis, smiling. 656,000 views. Squid Game, The Hidden Truth, which is about, of course, that it's obviously hidden Marxism teaching people and that debt is really like, they're destroying us, right? You couldn't make this up. Check out George Soros. Look at that. Dropping the super Jew right in the clip art. They're coming for your kids. This is madness. This is why people are angry. This takes the piss now. Biden's new JFK files excuse. Whoa, did this movie predict the future? Fucking V for Vendetta. Jesus. Thought elections couldn't sink any lower. Think again, is this a joke? Let's Go Brandon now banned. And that's because the pilot banned? What the fuck are you talking about? Banned. Whatever. You think we're heading to dystopia? Watch this. He does that a lot too. He'll throw on watch this at the tail end. And if you go to like YouTube camp, they tell you to do this. Yeah, but don't forget, give a thumbs up, like and subscribe. I don't do this shit. I'm way more charming. Thank you, Slaughter Official or whatever that was. Hold on, your thing zip by. As an actual super Jew, I apologize if you're aligning them. This is just how they refer to him, so we go there. CNN coverage called out to its face. The dishonesty about Big Pharma. Big anti-vax movement in his shit, too. Ran interference for Rogan during the whole ivermectin thing. Going against Fauci. Let's see. This is people are quitting. Like the video that Kamala Harris did for YouTube Originals, which uses child actors because that's what they do. She was on there as a guest. This is literally that whole that controversy. This has 1 million fucking views. This video about Kamala Harris sitting with these little kids. They have child actors on these shows because they have to pay them because it's YouTube Originals. That's part of their programming. They didn't hire fake actors to hang around with her and talk STEM and science. They're trying to promote STEM and science, so they brought her on as a guest for these little kids who are like citizen interviewers, citizen journalists. They hired these kids to do it. They're all actors. They can speak. There's no surprise in this. But anyways, 1 million views on that one. 1 million on Let's Go Brandon. Why did the anti-Biden... Yeah, the Rogan went 3.8 million views just 3 weeks ago. So, yeah. On and on and on and on. Shame on you. Crowd rages at Hillary Clinton. Yeah, it's like this. I mean, it's standard stuff. Yeah. Anyways, he's like a cross between, he's the hippie Joe Rogan. That's what he's trying to be. He's trying to be the hippie Joe Rogan. We both do drugs, right? Yeah, we both do fucking drugs. Why not? And he's and like half an article talking out of his ass. That's it. And they're like, basically that's the nature of it. And just for reference, let's see. Here's my videos. Thanks to CSL. Here's our button. Hal Sparks Morning Show. MTG. Not so smart and crafty. Not so smart and crafty. Hannity. Reeling in the fears. Baby Hal scolds DeBad MAGA Man. Laura Ingraham defines insanity. Kirk Banana Man for life. Kelly and MTG sing the J6 blues. Carlson tuckered out on winning. Glenn Beck's fool's proof. Tucker plus Owens commie obsessed. Man lands on Mark Levin because I put an astronaut on his forehead while he was talking about getting to the moon. Gomert and MTG prisoner advocates. What? Hawley and Carlson want manly men. Like all these, none of this is like it's the end of the world. Kitties share the show. Like this is the most violent I've ever done. Like this, that's the height of it. Biden gives migrants $450,000. Like that would jump into that zone. And then just a radio show and the name of the radio show and the crazy core of the mag is stuff. Fly the Male Condor. Greg sees buzz people. That was really funny. But none of this is like the fucking, it's the end of the world and the terribleness and they're destroying people. It's destruction.
Look, it's me, Russell Brand. You found my YouTube channel. I love this channel. What I want you to do now is subscribe and turn on
I love it. It's so much. It pays me and I don't have to do any fucking real work. It's great. I do need a new photo. I needed a whole photo shoot. But yeah, so that's the whole fucking thing in there, isn't it? So this is sort of crucial in the like selling of this kind of shit. And Glenn Beck's stuff is just like this. Glenn Beck's are all like, it's the fucking monstrous. Oh, here, wait, hold on one second. Let's look at Glenn's and then we'll start the video. Whoops, shit. Here's the videos. Stop. Go away. Shut up. Okay. This is his thumbnails. Scariest thing I've ever seen. No terror alert for far left. No case against him. Truth will set you free. What's wrong with us? Pain is coming. This will be their downfall. Which side are you on? Arrogance will ruin them. Best news in years. Can the states fight back? It's all coming undone. We live in a banana republic. Coming water shortages? ? I will not comply. New Great Reset Coalition dissecting OSHA's vaccine mandate. A message for the elites. Our supply chain shortage is fixable. Big banks will throttle you. Woke platforms failed miserably. Civilization threatening research. Energy costs won't go down. Absolute falsehoods in Virginia. Vaccine mandate compromise. Left's weak ideology exposed. No religious exemption from Navy. Why poopy pants Biden caught on, and then picture of him like this. Flat out cover up lie. Utter contempt for taxpayers. My privilege comes from God. That one didn't do very well compared to the rest of the videos. It's kind of the lowest one on this row. Interesting. ESG scores are a scam. That's your what kind of good energy citizen you are. Yeah. Glenn's experience with depression. It's an interesting color choice. Why will defeat the left? Anti-Biden song banned. I won't be bullied. Yeah. So anyways, Panic at the Disco. And And today it's World Economic Forum's great narrative is freaking terrifying. The video on this is like it's freaking terrifying. Here it is. Freaking terrifying. World Economic Forum. Freaking terrifying. What's terrifying about it? The whole thing that they want to make a more equitable financial system so that people who have resources like the Saudis and stuff can't, or the oligarchs in Russia can't shuffle it away from everybody else.
So far ahead on the metaverse.
Also, by the way, he has this bullshit 74 days Americans left behind. He's just going to keep counting this down apropos of fucking nothing. Like there are none. There are no Americans in Afghanistan that can't get out right now that want to get out.
And you don't even know it. I want to tell you that on Wednesday,
I will be wearing a Michelin Man outfit. And on Thursday, I will be wearing a small canoe to work.
The World Economic Forum held the Great Narrative. And they've been promoting this. And what I'm going to read to you is on their website. Now, remember,
oh, no, not on their website. Well, the nice thing is at least, let's see. At least Trump never went to the World Economic Forum. By the way, when are we going to see Glenn Beck in one of these outfits? Seriously, how many box tops do I have to send in? Here we go. Let me scroll in here. This is the whole like.
All of the cynics, I had never been more confident in America's future. I knew we were on the verge of a profound economic resurgence if we did things.
And if you think this year's good, this is January 21. If you think last year was good, wait till you see what we're going to do this year.
One that would generate a historic wave of investment, wage growth, and job creation. I knew that if we unleashed the potential of our people, if we cut taxes, slashed regulations, and we did that at a level that's never been done before in the history of our country.
No one's ever seen the slashing of the red and the thing. But the World Economic Forum, this is it. At least Trump never aligned himself or gave a speech at the World Economic Forum. Yeah.
The Economic Forum just partnered with the Biden administration to bring these things back. They're to bring these things.
Oh, bring them back because they happened before. You mean when America was greater, or what are you talking about?
To America, we are now partnering.
We've done a bunch of shows. Pepsi Max. We've done a bunch of shows without him, without Trump being in them. We have
partnered with 20 different companies, public-private partnership, and the World Economic Forum. This is Build Back Better. So the Great Narrative was the conference that is happening this week to design the future. Now, I want you to just listen. This is how they opened it. Design the future, the story for the future. In order to shape the future, you have to imagine the future, design the future.
Okay. I'm going to understand the future. I'm going to understand it. Understand the future. When you understand the future, you will know that the future is happening now. When you understand the future. Oh my God, to do this. I had a sound on the wrong thing, so I had to add and make a thing. Okay, speak slow. I don't understand the big words.
They will decide how we decide.
That's terrible. They're going to make us see carrots.
We execute the great narrative. But the great narrative is what is tomorrow going to look like?
Well, as the children and as the duly designated representative of our future, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe I am a future. I would say the future looks like me, only bigger.
Globally, the world has gone through a very difficult time.
Yeah, I know. I just learned how to use the bathroom, and now I had to wear a diaper on my face till we could find a mask that fat. Fit. What's the past tense of fit? Fat? That's going to be a tough one. Third grade's going to suck.
People are now looking for transformation, but the world needs a new blueprint, a new narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because 1% own more wealth than 7 billion. Almost half the population lives in under $6 a day.
That would seem like something we should fix. $6 is not enough. Juice box costs $1.49. Carrot sticks $1.25. If you want peanut butter crackle, that's $2.75. And then if you want a new Switch game, that's like $1 million trillion.
Because the last 60 years were the warmest on record.
Well, it's going to be a cold winter. Good thing you're bundled up. I need to get my jacket on.
We can't afford to waste more time on denial of climate change.
Right. And?
Because our digital world will be as important as our physical world.
Oh, my goodness. That's what I want. Xbox, PS5, let's go. League of Legends, Worlds of Watercraft. I don't know.
By 2025, there will be 5 times.
By 2025. I'm going to be 7. No, 9. No, 8. I give up.
More devices than people on this planet.
Well, it's already... My dad has more cars than he has moms.
Because both to inspire hope and action, government, first and foremost, are in the business of installing hope.
Yes, we got hope installed. Well, she's not really installed. That's my babysitter name.
Governments are instituted among men to...
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which one would think if one thought past one's own clothing choices, let's just say, one might think that that constitutes optimism, aka also known as hope.
Oh, protect these rights. I'm sorry. I thought it was install hope.
Well, if they don't protect them, what hope do you have?
Imagine what role the government should play to install this new narrative.
Probably, I don't know, government could be the jack. When Daddy changes the car tire, the jack, and then they're like basically government is like the little spell.
A whole government approach is not enough. All of humanity approach is needed. Collectively, we are the author of this new chapter. The future belongs to those who can imagine it and implement it.
Well, sorry, it turns out you're going to be left behind. That's all right. Someone will come in and fill you with hope. They'll install it for you. It's very possible that one day your hope will come. Oh, sorry. You were saying?
How can we design the government to be future citizen ready? How to lead the world into sustainable and a better future?
It's hard to say. I don't know. I guess if you meet someone and I don't know. Do you think she would even talk to me? It's hard to say. I feel like a cartoon Jake Gyllenhaal right now. I can't. I hope. All right.
Will be the great narrative.
Because I have long hair, it bounces me back and forth between being the boy version of the cartoon and the girl. See? Sexist. I wish there was a button. Fuck.
When we look at the world today, difficulties shape the future.
They do.
3 obstacles. First, After the pandemic, people have become much more self-centered.
Starting to sound like a sermon.
Really, that's the big... What is the role of government? Looking at our current position in human history, we sit at the second of the first minute of the first day of the first year. Human evolution to the wheel to today with technology. In 50 years, it will be totally different.
Totally, bruh. It's totally going to be different. Well, I got to say, this won't work. Shit. Maybe this will work. Bro. No? It's too much. Bro. Yeah, you bet your ass. My hair's so long, it just sticks out of my neck. That's just gross. This is better. Hold on. What do we do? How are we even going to know? Oh!
The pace we've grown has been massive, but we are putting...
Well, for some of us...
our life onto one platform. The future will be based on the platform we design now.
Okay, so we're all in a big Cirque du Soleil. Is that how we're looking at it? Fuck me.
Does anybody think so far this is a little spooky?
No, actually, none of us think it. Well, speak for yourself, because I totally think it's a little spooky. I definitely think that it's spooky. I definitely don't know what's going on. I want to know, but it's scary too. It's like a closet door you don't want to open. These guys look like they're scared of everything, though. Seriously. Like, the biggest fear these guys have during the course of their day is that they come across the craft services table and there's no donuts.
Job is to bring people and humility together.
What kind of religious hoo-ha is this? This sounds like something you'd hear at church. Wanting people to be good and not selfish and have some humility about their place in the world. That's gross. Stop this for a second. I'm almost done crying. Start reading from the Ayn Rand coloring book again. I'm getting upset.
And humility. How is this great government going to make us find humility?
I think it's mostly a request.
Technology. Let's see. The job is to bring people and humility together. Technology and to bring better for our humanity. Obviously translated.
Poorly, and also very weakly read, if I may so say my damn self.
How do you see the global future collaboration? Hopefully in optimistic terms. We know the world isn't inclusive or sustainable enough, but we cannot forget the amount of progress made in 50 years. We know the tensions like you...
Well, let's be completely honest. Glenn does not think it's progress. The last 50 years have been a nightmare for his kind, and he's wearing a diaper again because he worried about the future even worse.
In China, but we have always have common interests. They want stronger cooperation between the U.S. and China, including environmental issues. Don't leave it alone to governments. Business and science need to play a part. Combine the common interest. Make sure.
Are the head bobs written in the paper? That's what I want to know. As you're reading, I want to know how to do this when I grow up. That when you read a paper, is the exclamation point when you read on the paper go, and then a question mark on the paper make you go, and then a period make you go, just a little, or maybe a comma. You just have to tilt your head the direction, and then two little bunnies come in.
Term compromises for long-term change. We are in a new transformation of humankind. If you want to change humanity...
Yes, I would like to be a transformer and be a robot and a car.
We must change the world. Let us use our energy to create a great narrative for humankind in the next 2 days. Take our own...
Over the next 2 days. Translation problem. Did I turn off the filter and forget? Yes, this is what I really look like. Hold on, I'll go back to normal. 1 second. Fine. You want to be that way? Fine. Fine. Fine.
Fate into our own hands.
And who's that from?
The World Economic Forum.
I don't know why he's freaking out. This just sounds like a speech.
And the Great Reset.
Jeez.
That's not from the Great Reset, shithead. The Great Reset is a plan of theirs unrelated to this narrative thing.
Is that not freaking terrifying?
Jesus, they want people to be have humility. This is fucking frightening.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm with you. Is your check still good, Glenn? Because I'm totally with you. I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they do seem like they're much further along than.
Then I don't know what the fuck you're afraid about. It sounds like a speech. Sorry, 1 second. 1920s speech on environment industry. Let's see. Library tool, Google's rule. History of the environmental. There you go. Environmental issues in the 20s. The Roaring 20s. 90 years of conservative conservation success. The Roaring 20s. 2012, issue 1. On January 14th, 1922, 54 sportsmen met in Chicago to discuss an issue of common concern, the deteriorating conditions of America's top fishing streams. Uncontrolled industrial discharges, raw sewage, and soil erosion threatened to destroy many of the nation's most productive waterways. At the same time, the country's forests, wetlands, and wilderness areas were quickly disappearing. The group decided to form an organization to combat water pollution and name it after Isaac Walton, a 17th century English conservationist who wrote the literary classic The Complete Angler. Initially formed as a federation of angling clubs, the Isaac Walton League of America soon broadened its goal in defense of outdoor America. 90 years later, Isaac Walton's league's 39,000 members and more than 250 local chapters continue to build on the accomplishments of those who preceded them as defenders of the nation's soil, air, woods, waters, and wildlife. You can track the history of the league through the advance in the... Okay, shit. Like... What the fuck do you think visionary statements always sound like, you tool?
They are.
Facebook's changing their name. It's a lot.
No,
it's a lot further along than that.
This is...
Guys, you don't understand. That's just a distraction. This is not... You have to understand. Guys, yes, Facebook's changing their name. Yes. That's scary. But you don't even understand. Soros.
So far along, and we are not invited to the table.
Well, that's because it's not a buffet. It's basically a la carte. It's a bring your own dish kind of a thing.
Is not invited to the table. Just our overlords are invited to the table, and
yes, the overlords. By the way, overlords are described in the document I read as every human being on the planet.
Will decide for us. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen because
well, obviously you have lived the cushiest fucking life ever because a speech from the World Economic Forum about their vision for a balanced economy. The fuck?
Not just America. This is the world.
Yeah,
they are playing
on board with it.
Yeah, they are playing for the world.
And they're using the same verbiage too. They're all doing the...
Oh, yeah.
It's all in German. This is all... I don't know if you know this. This was all translated, Yeah. Yeah, we was looking at this thing, and it was like, originally, the speech was not given into English. No. Understands this. Yes. This is translated from the original Skeksis.
Back better thing.
Oh, yeah. Which is the Great Reset.
Yeah.
Build Back Better is the Great Reset. Oh, Glenn. Yeah, the Great Reset is about like loans, monetary policy, and out of control, fucked up economies of places like Venezuela and stuff, and trying to balance out some of the economies that were actually stable. By the way, and by creating them in a more capitalist structure, for the record, which is normally something this asshole would be for, but he needs a boogeyman, so nothing will get between, Glenn Beck and his buffet of boogeymen.
And by the way, I just want to say this: we're looking for
a Toyota Tercel, license plate 701 HAP, H-A-P. Your lights are on.
We know the tensions like USA and China, but we have common interests. We want stronger cooperation, USA and China, including environmental issues. Don't leave it alone to the governments. Combine the common interest. Make short-term compromises for long-term change.
Yes, short-term compromises. Not allow yourself to be mowed down by the other side and bend over and grab a railing. Who is totally freaked out by short-term compromise?
Now let me play you what John Kerry said yesterday.
Dear God.
About China.
Not the mortician, Lurch himself.
Uyghurs.
How in the several months of meetings behind the scenes with China did you bring up some of those very contentious issues, such as the use of forced labor in Xinjiang for building solar panels? How did you address it, and how did you kind of overcome that in reaching this final?
Well, we're honest. We're honest about the differences, and we certainly know what they are, and we've articulated them. But that's not my lane here. That's my job is to.
Yeah, he's the climate czar, fucko. They've got the State Department for that kind of stuff. He's trying to talk them into not using coal. He's got one job. You had one job, just the one.
Climate guy.
You also had Nancy Pelosi say we have to get climate change done, and we can't get bogged down with the Uyghur slaves. John Kerry is currently fighting legislation to ban anything made by slaves in China. This is the cooperation.
Is he? Is that what he's busy doing? He was at Davos. This is the face of a man who's bullshitting. Let's see. Legislation to ban slave goods from China. John Kerry. All right. Republicans, there you go. Oh, it's a Fox News story. No surprise. Republicans accuse John Kerry of lobbying against Uyghur forced labor ban as U.S.-China enter climate agreement. Nikki Haley accuses Kerry of being willing to accept Chinese slave labor to promote his radical climate agenda. Republicans have taken aim at the special envoy John Kerry after the U.S. and China entered into an agreement Wednesday to tackle climate change, accusing him of turning a blind eye to human rights abuses. It doesn't get worse than John Kerry. Nikki Haley said he's willing to accept Chinese slave labor to promote his radical climate agenda. What happened to defending human rights? Haley's comments came just one after the U.S. and China agreed to work together to lower greenhouse gas emissions, a significant step as both nations are responsible for roughly... That has nothing to do with buying shit from there. Under the agreement, U.S. and China would share technology and policy developments in order to lower emissions in accordance with goals in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. But Kerry raised eyebrows when asked a reporter whether or not he discussed the issue. He said, yeah, that's the clip we just saw. My job is to be the climate guy and stay focused on trying to move the climate agenda forward. Biden has made combating climate change a chief point at the center of his administration. Spokesperson for the State Department defended Kerry's stance, saying Secretary Kerry has a 37-year record as a senator and a Secretary of State standing up for human rights and defending democracy. As Secretary Kerry said from the start, the United States and China have mutual interest in solving climate change while there's still time, even when we fundamentally disagree on other critical issues. This is not the first time climate has been accused of disregarding known human rights. Florida Republican Marco Rubio accused Kerry of actively working against the Uyghur Forced Labor Act, a bipartisan bill that would block all imports on goods made using Uyghur forced labor. The bill, introduced by Rubio and Jeff Merkel, Democrat of Oregon, passed in the Senate in July, but has since sat in the House. The Biden administration, some Democrats are so desperate for climate deal, the Chinese Communist Party, they're willing to provide, this is not a partisan issue, at least it shouldn't be. Rubio has called for Kerry's removal as climate envoy. I don't know how he's blocking it as the climate envoy. I don't know what that has. By the way, underwear ads? All right, there we go. Fox News could not immediately reach Merkley's office for comment. Okay. I don't know where he's blocking it because he's working on climate. I don't know where that assertion is, other than the fact that they just don't want anyone in that job.
This is the kind of short-term compromises that will show us in the future a whole race of people have been wiped out.
Yeah. When did you start giving a fuck about those folks? The minute we started working on climate change? Because you didn't before. Right. And that's the bailout. Do nothing because doing something proves you're on the other side of us is entirely it. Wow, it's 5:20 already. This one zipped by. So much stuff. Rob Schmidt's talking about China. This is a big story from that Tucker. None of this is an accident. It's an 11-minute clip, though. We don't have time to start in on that. Oh, God. Horrifying. Tucker Carlson examines the mainstream media doesn't seem to care about high gas prices. We'll deal with this on the radio show tomorrow. We've been through so much together. We really have. It's really hard not to laugh when they talk about how Biden is some evil socialist that has dementia, yet he controls our world supply chain and oil industry somehow, yet he is controlled by Obama. Yes, who's also controlled by Hillary Clinton. And yeah, it's just like, it never ends. Apparently Ari Fleischer let the air out of Harris Faulkner's tires the other day when she was like, who's running the White House? And Ari Fleischer went, Biden. Oh, thanks, Nigga Crinkles. I try. We'll make it, we'll get it there. We can have some fun. That's what we do. But, my gas was $2.87 a day, 15-cent discount for frequent flyers convenience store. Maybe Glenn is moonlighting as a novelty stripper in those clothing layers. Yeah, I don't know. Ugh, don't make me. I ate just before the show. Stop looking for lingerie. I can't help it. And it's as a matter of fact, I think that's just Fox because that doesn't show up in my regular stuff. Now, and it's funny when I go over to Raw Story. Let's see if let me shrink that down a little bit and see if it shows ads what it thinks I need. Help protect your vision. Luxury. Yeah. I don't know what my blockers must be working like crazy because the ads that come up are just sort of ridiculous. Here's what I get. You can see this on Raw Story. I get a wall dispensing Purell thing. All right. I feel seen. I got you. Look at that. It's just like I want one in my house. I gotta say, but I'm not gonna get one. 2 of those, and then help protect your vision. Get an eye exam. Okay. You see, this is weird. The Conrad. Apparently, they know I want to buy 666 Fifth Avenue. Apparently, that's Jeanette Cook. Let's go Bannon. Let's go Bannon. Apparently, they want me to stay at the Conrad. They apparently know I'm going to go to New York soon, so I can do some work. Luxury suites in the heart of Midtown. The Conrad. Either that or they know I'm watching Only Murders in the Building going, those buildings are nice. I'd like to live there. That seems fun. Yeah, and by the way, when this guy came up, MAGA rioter who brought his 10-year-old son to January 6th demonstration gets 2 months in jail. Is this Caden's dad? Have we found Caden? Where's Caden? We lost Caden. We want to find Caden. How? And by the way, Raw Story, your atheist fixation on anything religious has jumped the shark. Calm the fuck down. You don't get to avoid it in all aspects of life. The separation of church and state only deals with the state. It's not separation of church and you everywhere you go. This is part of living amongst other people. For fuck's sake, you guys. This was fucked up. This story. Squatters bury woman's mummified body in the backyard and steal her home. She'd been dead for like 7 months. She died alone in her house. This is, by the way, near our old neighborhood where Summer and I lived before we moved here. I think I've driven past this fucking house. I'm not kidding. I think it's in our old little community. It's like a couple of streets over. Blech. This happened while we were living there. Right-wing chat groups post home address of Rittenhouse prosecutor. Why? So they can send him flowers? Christopher Walken painted over Banksy mural for the sake of comedy. Well, I'm sure Banksy would approve. That we saw that. ABBA tops the UK charts for the first time with first studio album since 1981. Awesome. Again, can't stand the music, but I'm glad it's there. Jesus. Former suburban Chicago tech CEO to be first Illinoisan? Really? That's a word? Sentenced in U.S. Capitol breach. Former white nationalist leader gives damning testimony against Charlottesville Nazis. They prepare for violence. You think? Well, everything but exercising. Summer Zervos drops lawsuit against Donald Trump and stands by her allegations. What? Probably because it's expensive. Drags on and he just fights it everywhere else. And by the way, she's going to have to get in line behind his other stuff. And E. Jean Carroll's already got him deposed. She'll get to pick it up and save herself some money because they're going to get some other questions. Have you ever been accused of anything else like this? What's your da-da-da-da? Yeah. Stage walkout of race video by my students surface online. I don't know. Again, there's some stuff when stuff happens at schools that's either racist or violent or whatever, that I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with every other teacher and every other student at a school? It seems like you'd come together instead of walking out. Unless there's like some sort of underlying, yeah, they made us make it. And this one is how we started, and this one is how we shall end. Oh, it's lovely. Something to talk about tomorrow. Good times. Stephen Bannon, indicted by federal grand jury, arrest warrant issued. Oh, the joy, oh rapture. Apparently AliExpress thinks I need a folding bicycle. Survival of the Jedi motorcycle. What? This thing. What the fuck is this thing? These little guys right here. Prosecutors present indictment arrest warrant. Oh, God. Warrants about being in Congress. I don't want to... What is this?
Hello, welcome to the Raw Report. On Friday, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Stupid Republicans that just won't push the line and won't cross the line and won't go far enough because they're scared. Because somebody might stand up and challenge them, or someone's going to write a bad news story, or simply whatever.
Oh, yeah. We watched this. Just good stuff. I just revel in her shitting on other Republicans. Trump faced the loss of New York City golf course. The Capitol riot continues to haunt him. Oh, joy, oh, rapture. This is the other thing. What I tell you guys, you know the stuff I've been telling you all along, and I really will get out of here after this, but can I just say, I was telling you that one of the things that will happen before the jail stuff happens, before he gets into real trouble, is that his properties, which would have been in probate had it not been for him getting, winning the presidency, they would have been all up. They're all in the red. They would all be up for sale. That's all going to keep going. That's like, it's just going to get worse. This is all going to happen first. Former President Donald Trump is facing the loss of its New York City golf course due to the president's former role in the city of New York will not be associated with those unforgivable acts in any way, shape, or form, Bill de Blasio said. City terminated the Trump organization's licensing deal for Trump golf links at Ferry Point Park in the Bronx. Oh, it's fun. Has sued to reinstate the licensing deal, which is set to expire Sunday, with Trump alleging that the decision stemmed from animus against him on part of de Blasio. So, it sucks when some politician has it out for you, I guess. Senate report that even though a judge has agreed to delay the termination, the golf course appears to be another likely cause to stem from the President Donald Trump's actions on January 6th. Case highlights how Trump's activities during the final days of his presidency continue to haunt him. Blah, 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 blah. Has operated since 2012, brought in more than $8 million in revenue in the first 10 months of this year. The Jack Nicklaus designed course reportedly features a presidential seal imprinted on the grass. Get fucked. In addition to the golf course, the city terminated the Trump organization's management of Central Park Carousel and 2 ice skating rinks. That's the one where that's directly related to the SDNY case. In terminating the golf course deal, the city cited the PGA of America's decision in the wake of January 6 to cancel an agreement to host its 2022 championship tournament at Trump's Bedminster Resort, saying it would be detrimental to its brand. PGA's decision provided irrefutable evidence the Ferry Point's course ability to draw tournaments of the requisite caliber that Trump's it's a material breach of the license. Cities also accused Trump lawyers of trying to intimidate potential bidders for the licensing rights of the golf course. In September, Trump's lawyers allegedly sent a letter to one bidder advising them to proceed at your peril. Great. He's going to have asshole, like, we're going to send some maggots to burn the place down. In other news, appeals court temporarily blocks release of Gen 6 records. Yeah, that'll be right after Thanksgiving. We'll look at that. Witch hunt hoax. Right. So, it's good stuff. I will see you guys tomorrow on the radio show. Hal Sparks' radio program, Megaworldwide, is on Saturdays, 9 to 11 Pacific time, every Saturday, without fail, except when it fails. And I will be there. Oh, yes. And I think we can do that. I think on my way out the door, if you give me a second, let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, I'll just need this. Nope, I don't need that. I don't need that. I need this guy. Classy music in there for a second. A little be right back music for you as I go round up a cat. Anymore. He's not a stinker anymore. Here he comes. All right. Here we go. Hold on. 1, 2. Coming back. Give me a second. Look who it is. He's sleeping on the couch. Chipper. There he is. What's happening? Oh my gosh, he's a sleepy boy. Oh yeah, he is. Look at this boy. He's doing so good. He's so healthy. He was like, many of you may know, maybe you don't know, he was a mess when we got him. His butt didn't work. He was leaky. It was terrible. Gassy. Falling apart, couldn't hold food down. He was really skinny. You could feel his spine. Now he's a real cat. So cute. Yeah. What would Chip look like with a kid filter? It doesn't work on cats. Yeah, he was scraggly. You guys saw him some. No, he's not sick anymore. But he eats, and then he runs like a maniac, and then he passes out. So right now, he's like, oh God, I'm so tired. He's got a super cute face. He's a little bit cross-eyed, and right now he just wants to go to sleep. Yeah, he was so sleeping. Yeah, he's out. So I will leave you guys He's only a few weeks old. Only a couple months now. But yeah. Yep. We saved him. He's doing all right. Yeah, he's our little guy. He's okay. He's a one. There he goes. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Yeah. He's a buddy. He's a little guy. He's a little guy. Yeah, you are. Yeah. You are. You're okay. You're going to make it. We didn't think you were going to. Oh, it's a big yawn. He's a sleepy boy with kitten breath. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, he's very comfy. He's just like gonna pass out on my arm right now. So I'll let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Don't forget to like, subscribe, pass the show around. Remind everybody. There's lots of clips. I know none of my clip art is incendiary nonsense meant to make you fear the end of the world. I know that. I'm far too hopeful for that, and I'm always going to be that way. That's the distinguishing feature between my show and other shows, is that I'm not going to bullshit you as best I can, and I'm never going to make you more fearful or angry just to get you to watch. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're a hopeful, optimistic bunch here. I appreciate you guys being here. It's a joy to be with you every day, and I will see you guys for the radio show tomorrow. Take care, and for those of you that don't join us on the weekend, have a great weekend. All right. See you later.